Hi, I'm Mama Fontana, and welcome to my kitchen. Maybe I should say welcome back to my kitchen. It's been a long time. So this year has been crazy. I know everybody has gone through a lot of stuff with COVID. We probably have a lot to talk about. As you know, it's been a little over a year since I've done a video. Last year during COVID, I had both my knees replaced. I had my right one done in February, my left one done in July. So one's a year, one's soon to be a year. And then everybody was working from home. Well, not everybody, but most people. I had to go back in and forth here and there, but not a lot. And then this year, I was laid off after 23 years. And so that's kind of a punch in the gut. But I landed on my feet and got another job with a great company that I'm very happy to be with. And I'm just gonna make a quick shout out. Terry, Rachel, Candace, Lindsay, Tom, Josh. I'm so happy to be there, and I know you guys are fans of Mama Fontana's, which is even better. You knew me as Mama Fontana before you knew me as an employee, so thank you so much. And I just want to say I hope everybody's doing great. So today we're going to do something different, and it's a new recipe, and it's going to be Italian risotto. All right, so risotto. Risotto is a really good recipe. You can have it as a side dish. I like to have it as a full meal because it's just delicious. It's very simple to make. And I heard from someone that it's called the poor man's dinner. So the first thing that we're going to start with was a couple of tablespoons of just chopped up garlic. I buy it in the big things at Costco or Sam's. So just put that in there. I'm also going to add a little bit of olive oil, not much because you're going to use Italian sausage, and the Italian sausage, of course, is going to have plenty of fat and grease and all that yummy stuff in there. So we're going to get that stirred around just a little bit, and then we're going to get that heating up. As soon as I can hear a little bit of a sizzle, then we're going to add the meat. This is really a delicious recipe. Sometimes I make it and just have to make a salad with it. Like I said, you could cook a different meat with it if you wanted to and serve it that way, but I like it just like this. A lot of times I make enough that I put it in containers and take it to work. So it's really a delicious meal to have. All right, we got some going on here. So you're gonna use just a pound of mild Italian sausage. If you like hot, you can use hot too. Hot does have a little bit more spice to it, of course. So just get it in there. Give it a good little chop. Very simple, very few ingredients. So a little bit of olive oil, a couple tablespoons of minced garlic, and then a pound of Italian sausage of your choosing. So you see we're just getting this all kind of ground up in here, get it chopped up, kind of small. Starting to make the yummy sounds, nice sizzly sounds. All right, this is going to take a little bit of time to brown. So we're going to get this nice and browned up. As it's cooking, you always want to add a little bit of spice. You don't need much because Italian sausage does have, some of the sages and different things in. So we're going to put a little bit of pepper and a little bit of salt. Don't over salt things because if they're too salty, they're pretty hard to fix. People can always add a little more salt if it's not salty enough for them. Okay, we're gonna let this brown up and then we'll be right back and we'll show you the next steps. Okay, we're back. This looks like it's pretty nice and browned up. This rice, arborio, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, is just for risotto. You can buy it at pretty much any store. As you can see, I've already used half of it, and that's kind of how I judge it. So it's maybe 2 cups left in there. So when I made my last batch, I used half of it. Now I'm going to use the other half. So really, you're just browning up here really nice, and all you're going to do is just stir this in. So take all this beautiful rice. As you can see, it has a little bit of a different, it's kind of a bigger texture, but it's really delicious. So we're going to put that in there. Stir that in. Kind of get it mixed in with all of the wonderful juices. And this is how it looks. So now the next step is, I use vegetable broth. You can use any kind you like. If you like chicken broth, you can use chicken broth. Beef broth you could use. I've never tried it. I'm sure it'd be fine. But I like vegetable broth. So what you're going to do is you're just going to pour in some of it, maybe about half of it. And then you're just going to let that kind of steam and cook, because this is what's going to cook your rice and make it nice and tender. And you kind of want to keep stirring it as this is doing it, because you want to make sure everything is moving around. And keep your heat around medium to medium high, because you need to keep it moving. A little bit of bubbles. But if you stir it, then all the juices get mixed in with it. It's going to start absorbing into the rice, and that's what's going to give you the nice texture on your rice. As you see, you didn't have to cook the rice beforehand, which, you know, in a lot of recipes, of course, you do. So as this starts to cook, it makes kind of a little bit of a gravy texture, a little bit pastier. So that's when you know you need to add more. So as this is cooking, I'm going to add more as it absorbs. This is just going right into the rice. Oh, splashes. A little bit more, maybe half of that other half. You are going to be so surprised how delicious this is. Then as this starts to cook, then we're going to end up using the rest of it. You want to make sure you use all of it, because you need that for that rice to be the texture that is, you know, really good and not too crunchy. You want it to be like the soft rice texture. Okay, as you can see, I've added all the liquid, all of that beautiful vegetable broth in here, and it's just a little bit thick. It's really looking really nice, and we only have one more thing that we have to do before this is finished and ready to go. Is you can add Parmesan cheese. So there are lots of different kinds of Parmesan, and I've used many different kinds, even just the shaker kind, whatever you want. But I bought some Asiago. I also have some Mizithra in the fridge, which would be delicious too. But I'm going to try this one today. And adding this to it is just what brings out all of the flavors, and it kind of blends it together. It becomes kind of thick. So you just start adding it in. Stir it, stirry. Turn it down a little bit now, because you don't want to burn the cheeses. And all this is going to do is just absorb. It's going to mix in. And I'm going to use the whole container. Seems like a lot of cheese, but is there really too much cheese? I don't think so. That smells so good. So stir it in. You can let it just cook on low if you want for a little bit more, if it's not tender enough for you, and you can test it to see how tender it is. But really, guys, that is it. That's all there is to it. It's delicious. If you want to double the recipe, you know, just double it. Use the whole container of the rice, use 2 pounds of the sausage, double the cheese, you know, pretty simple stuff. So, I mean, this can be hot, but I want to test and see how the rice is. There it is. Let's get a little piece of that sausage. Ow, that is hot. Ooh, that's good. Really good. The rice is still a teeny bit crunchy. So I'm gonna let it cook just a little bit longer, just because you don't wanna have too crunchy your rice. So put your lid on, turn it down so it doesn't burn, stir it every once in a while, and that's it. That's all there is to it. This is a delicious recipe. It's really easy. Like I said, you can have it for the whole thing, just have some bread and a salad. Sorry guys. But I'm just so glad to be back. I hope you enjoyed the show. Reach out to me if you want me to make something different, something special. I've got a couple of recipes that are fairly new that I've learned recently, and I'm going to be doing them for you. But if there's something you want to see individually, let me know. Just send me a message. I'm so happy that you joined me. Make sure that you subscribe if you haven't. Tell your friends, tell your family. I cook for the love of my family, and now I share it with you. See you next time.